guys. Last segment. You know what time it is, Craig? Yeah, favorite segment, man. It's the Who You Got. And this is the playoff edition, so it's gonna be real intense. Mo texted me his are crazy. So yeah, he has Buffalo winning. Shout out Mo, you're gonna be the first on the show. He has Tennessee winning, Buffalo, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay. All right. So listen, and all the topics I put Bengals versus Raiders is Bengals versus Titans, guys. All right.
I was able to work that out.
I can start off with them. Offense, I have the Bengals. Once again, I think the quarterback position is better than Tannehill. Even though I respect Tannehill, came from wide receiver to playing an NFL quarterback. This is his second stop. Love the story. Joe Burrow has a better story. Couldn't make it to Ohio State, won a championship at LSU, got the Bengals the first playoff win in 31 years. Pretty good in his second season. Receivers, come on, man. Jamar Chase, Boyd. I mean, they're loaded. And now the Titans receivers are loaded too, but Julio is just not healthy. A.J. Brown's not healthy. They should be healthy now. But if both of them were healthy, and I still would pick Jamar Chase just because of the season he had. Running back, gotta go with Joe Mixon. The only reason is I love Derrick Henry. I don't know. He's playing, I guess. I don't know. I haven't heard reports. He hasn't played in 8 weeks. So, it's going to be interesting. But I got to give the edge towards the Bengals in the offense. The defensive side, I'm going to give it towards the Titans. I think their defense is more physical. I think that pass rush, Jeffrey Simmons is a problem in the middle. And he determines a game. He can make the game sway one way or the other. And I think he's going to cause a lot of problems for Cincinnati. So I'm giving it to Titans. Coaching. Zach Taylor did a great job this year. They kind of were up and down, but opposite of Cliff Kingsbury, he upped the intensity. Right? They won some big games at the end of the year. Baltimore, Kansas City. Under Kingsbury, I'm not sure they would have won those games. But Zach Taylor upped the intensity, and the Bengals came through strong. But I got to give it to Mike Vrabel, man. Shit, get coach of the year. I mean, losing Derrick Henry, not having Julio Jones, not having A.J. Brown. I know the schedule was soft, but still getting the number 1 seed is a phenomenal coaching job. So let's get to the meat and potatoes. I have the Titans winning, man. Now I know it's supposed to be some upsets. We'll get to those later, but I just have the Titans. I think Derrick Henry comes out. He's healthy. I think that I said it last week. I think this week the Titans get to Joe Burrow. I think not having a line in the playoffs are going to hinder you at some point, and the physicality of the Titans are going to be imposing on the Bengals. So watch for that matchup where because if they can't get the running game going and they apply pressure, Joe Burrow is going to make mistakes, and I think that's what's going to happen. And I think the Titans are going to win. I think the Titans in 24-17. Corey.
All right. Offensively, I'm with you, James. I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals. Just top to bottom, Joe Burrow is playing phenomenal football right now. That receiving core with Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. That's a lot to cover. And then you still got a really good running back in Joe Mixon. And And who knows what condition Derrick Henry is going to be in going into this game. And that includes both his foot and how close is he even going to be to game shape? I know he's a physical freak, but there's a big difference between being on an exercise bike or jogging around,
Game shape,
being in game shape for a football game.
Yeah.
So yeah. Defensively, I think the Bengals have a better all-around defense, but I put an asterisk on there because I think a lot of that hinges on the availability of Trey Hendrickson for the game. He's dealing with concussion. It's a question mark as to whether or not he'll be able to play. And him being out of that game for Cincinnati is a big time difference maker for that football game. Coaching wise, I'm going to go push. I know it's the playoffs. I know you're opposed to that, James. But I'm not as high on Mike Vrabel as a lot of people are, as you guys are. And Zach Taylor did a hell of a job this year. It's just there's no other way to put it. I didn't think he could do this. There were a lot of questions about him and how he was being received in a locker room and all of that before the season. And he shut everybody up in a hurry. So kudos to him. But he's still young, so it's hard to take him over Vrabel. Overall, biggest takeaway for me for this whole game is that it's incredibly disappointing that one of these two teams is going to be in the AFC Championship game, and we don't get Buffalo, Kansas City for a trip to the Super Bowl. That's the game everyone wants. That those two teams have, at least up to this point in the season, have kind of separated themselves as being the teams. But it is what it is. For the two teams playing in this game, I just look at it as Tennessee had kind of limped into the playoffs. Yes, they got the bye, got a chance to get some guys back, get a little bit healthy. But Cincinnati's the team on a roll. They're hot and Cincinnati and Tennessee has really bad run defense. I think that it's a chance for the Bengals to change things up a little bit, establish Mixon, and if they can get play action with those receivers,
it's a wrap. Yeah,
that's going to be tough for the Titans. And I don't trust Ryan Tannehill. If you ask me to take a quarterback, I'm taking Burrow 10 times out of 10.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Cincinnati to pull off the upset on the road.
Okay.
24-20.
All right. Cool. Craig, Bengals versus Titans, who you got?
Yeah, on the offensive side, I definitely have the Bengals. Even though Joe Mixon hasn't really ran the ball well, like he hasn't hit 100 yards since the 28th of November. So it's like 5 or 6 games maybe. In the playoffs, you have to add that one in there too. So he hasn't been as good, I guess, as people.
I didn't know that.
He only had 200-yard games this year out of 17. So he hasn't really been running the ball well. But you look at his numbers, he's like finished second, I believe, or third in rushing in the league. So
yeah,
he hasn't really been like average per carry hasn't been good as well. So, but overall, I mean, Joe Burrow he's on a roll. His wide receivers, he has really good wide receivers. Chase, Corey said the name, Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. And then on the other side, like I just have no clue about Derrick Henry, Julio Jones. I know AJ Brown should be out there. He's back. He's been back for a little while. But Tannehill, Tannehill is to me is just not good. He's just below average to me. So I just don't see him on the same level. Like I can't even really put their offense nowhere near, especially with Derrick Henry being iffy. I think he went through full practice, I believe, or more intense drill. So
yeah, I think he had a contact practice.
Yeah.
I just read that.
Yeah, so he should. I mean, I'm assuming he should be good to go. But we shall see. But yeah, offensive side, I'm taking Cincinnati. The defensive side, just because Tennessee can get to the quarterback, I'm taking Tennessee. Excuse me. And Cincinnati's offensive line, they're just not good. They give up a lot of sacks. So Tennessee's going to be able to get to the quarterback. I would assume more than Vegas did last week. So we shall see. And with the extra week of rest, everybody for the most part who was hurt or a little bit iffy, they should be ready to go for this game. But yeah, I just think that defense for Tennessee, I think they were in the top 10 in sacks this year. So she'll see kind of a little bit of a, not really strength on strength, but the Bengals offensive line is just horrible. Coaching wise, this is tough because Mike Vrabel has done to get the number 1 seed. I actually didn't think the Tennessee Titans were going to make the playoffs this year. I think I had the Dolphins in or the Dolphins and Colts, I believe, and whatever. So they didn't make it. Or they actually got the number 1 seed. I'm sorry. So just the job he's done without Derrick Henry, without AJ Brown for some part of the season. Julio Jones has been a no-show. Like I said, Tannehill's he's not a good quarterback. So the fact that he's still there and he led the team basically to the number 1 overall seed. I like the job that Taylor has done this year. He's done a really good job because I didn't see them in the playoffs either. And they turn around and they won the division. But I'm slightly leaning just because of the talent and the players that have been hurt this year and to come out with the number 1 overall seed. And I know Tennessee kind of backed into that number 1 overall seed, but got to give them credit. That being said, though, I'm leaning. I'm picking the Bengals. Picking the Bengals just because I think the quarterback position, even though their offensive line is shaky, I think the quarterback position is solidified with Cincinnati. The offensive side with their weapons, and even though I think Tennessee's defense is better, I don't really have them that much better than Cincinnati's. I think if Derrick Henry's healthy, though, it could I might change my pick on Sunday morning. As of right now, I'm picking Cincinnati. So I'm going 26-23, going with the Bengals.
All right. Corey, 49ers versus Packers. Who you got?
This one, offensively, got to go with Green Bay. The 49ers have one of the most dynamic players in all of football right now, and Deebo Samuel. But the Packers got Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams.
And Aaron Jones.
And Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon has played really well this season.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers isn't dealing with multiple injuries like Jimmy Garoppolo is. Garoppolo's got the thumb. He reportedly now has a shoulder injury.
Is he going to play?
Maybe. Last I saw is that they want him out there, but it is a bit of a question mark still. Defensively, I'm going to go Packers as well. The Packers defense has been phenomenal this year, and they're now poised to get Zadarius Smith back. Like they're still potentially going to get their best corner as well, but it's so crazy to think what the Packers have done this year without their two best defenders for a good chunk of the season. Meanwhile, you have the 49ers who I haven't seen anything on Bosa this week. I know he had a concussion, dealing with it. I don't know what his status is. Fred Warner's questionable to play with his ankle injury. I know he'll try to give it a go, but if he's not 100%, then that's still a loss for you. So the 49ers defense could potentially be without their 2 best players for this game. Coaching, honestly, I still gotta go to push on this. Sorry, James. I think they're both on pretty even footing. Like, yes, Shanahan's only had 2 winning seasons, but rallying this 49ers team like he did was really impressive. After they got out of the Colts game, losing record, things were looking down. There were starting to be grumbles. What was Shanahan's long-term future there? They rebounded the season really impressively. And Shanahan has shown a knack for being creative on offense. And LaFleur has won a lot of games as a head coach, but it's also, you got to wonder how much of that's LaFleur, how much of that is Rodgers. So, but to LaFleur's credit, you also have to give him credit because as we've all seen this season, Aaron Rodgers is a diva, so just managing that ego is a job in and of itself.
Yep.
And he has been able to do a good job with that so far in his tenure. Overall, as we said before, I think the 49ers hurt themselves last week and made that Dallas game a lot closer than it should have been. It makes me kind of nervous for the ability for the Packers or the Niners to compete this week with struggling to close out a game that they should have won easily. Packers are fairly healthy coming off the bye. Niners are just the injuries are piling up at the wrong time of the season. So I'm going to take Green Bay in this one, 31-20.
All right, Craig. Versus Green Bay, who you got?
I think the offense for the 49ers is playing pretty well. The running game especially. Like if you can get running yards from Eli Mitchell and Deebo Samuel, I mean that's pretty tough to stop. And then Deebo's catching passes and Brandon Ayuk starting to. I mean, he was nowhere to be found early in the season. He's kind of starting to show his face a little bit. The only obviously the biggest problem to me, and I've been against Jimmy Garoppolo for years, is I don't think he's a good quarterback either. You can tell me all the record and everything like that, and I don't care. I see what he's doing, and he's gonna find a way to give the game away or try to give the game away like he did last week. So I just don't really believe in Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he could take him to the Super Bowl, and I wouldn't bring him back. I mean, but because I don't really find him appealing as a quarterback. But is what it is, man. Like he's having an okay season. He's not going to wow you. He doesn't wow me with his numbers or whatever, with his stats, but or even with his arm. Like he's just not a good quarterback to me. But obviously he's going up against Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be cold. They had a bye week. A lot of players coming back. Aaron Jones, Dylan, and obviously Devontae. Like if they can get their center back, I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I think that's a big upgrade for that offense as well. And just the pieces around Aaron Rodgers, like the passes that he makes, and he just makes it look so effortlessly. So I'm taking the Packers offense. Defense is kind of tough because San Francisco's defense really showed up last week, and they pretty much showed up like the second half of the season. They started to play a lot better. But so is Green Bay's, and Green Bay's also getting players back as well. Just the 49ers seem to be trending in the wrong direction as far as injuries go. Like some players are hurt, especially like Bosa, and there's another guy as well. I can't remember his name.
Fred Warner.
Yeah, Fred Warner. He's hurt as well. So I think they'll be okay probably. But even still, I'm just because of it's just but there's so much uncertainty on both sides. I'm going to lean 49ers, but it's very, very close. I could go either way, depending on who shows up and who's out there on Sunday or Saturday. It could go either way. As far as the coaching goes, I was one of the people who thought Shanahan should be on the hot seat because his team.
A lot of people were,
and I was definitely for that. And he shut me up. Basically, he turned the season around, got his team into the playoffs, 10-7, nothing to sneeze at. Like and it's in a tough division. I just think that their team is playing really well. The problem is, as Corey pointed out, is that game should not have been that close last week, and you can't have field goals on the road in the playoff. You can't have field goals at home in the playoff game, and then you're going on the road, and it's going to be cold weather, and it's just these environments, man. It's tough to go to Lambeau Field and actually win a playoff game. Although Tampa Bay, a warm weather team, did it last season. I just don't see the same situation happening this season for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers team. So, coaching, I'm taking Matt LaFleur. But like I said, I like the job that Shanahan has done. So at the end of the day, though, I'm still picking the Packers. Like I haven't jumped off. I picked the Packers beginning of the season. I'm still sticking with them. I think Green Bay wins it 28-17.
Yeah. All right. So
So James, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It looks like Jimmy Garoppolo was a full participant at practice today.
yeah, I just saw it. And I think Nick Bosa was out. I think Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. No, Fred Warner was in. Nick Bosa was out. All right. So 49ers versus Packers. Who I have offensive, I gotta go Packers. Aaron Rodgers, one word. He's a bad man. That's all I have to say about that.
That's 2 words.
It is. But so, you got Aaron Jones, you got Devontae Adams, best receiver in football. O-line, Packers are getting healthy at the right time. And then Jimmy G's dealing with a lot of injuries. And now listen, Debo Samuel is taking people bikes and chains. Let's just say that. So I mean, he's phenomenal. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody. I don't know if I've ever seen a receiver that can run. Is that physically dominant that can run and catch the ball and make impose his will on linebackers and running backs. So he's playing phenomenal right now. So I just think that the Packers just have more offensive firepower. Defense, man, this is if the 49ers were healthy, they would have it. But they're not. And the Packers are getting healthy. So I have to give it to the Packers. Jadarius Smith is coming back. I don't know about Javier Alexander yet, but the Packers have been pretty quiet. So I'm assuming people are just getting healthy, and they're getting healthy at the right time. So I got to give defense edge to the Packers. Coaching, I like Matt LaFleur. Shanahan, they obviously know each other because they coached on my team. Anyway, it's not going to dwell on my toxic ownership. We just let all these coaches go that are being successful right now. Anyway, so Shanahan did a great job. So is Matt LaFleur. They know each other really well. They're both offensive geniuses. They both push their players hard. Even though, Corey, you're right, Matt LaFleur has Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a diva. He is. Just you got to call spade a spade. He's a diva, and he proved it this offseason, which I was shocked that he was from saying that he wasn't happy during the middle of the draft. Like, shouldn't have done that. Everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers now. You have these young men that are coming in, changing their lives. So, as soon as he did it, I was like, come on, man. You can wait a day. You can do it. You can wait one day. You know how it is. You were there. Come on. So, I gotta give it to. I have it to Shanahan. Just the way that he has brought San Francisco to where they're at. Everybody had them for dead, including me. And now, next year obviously this is an evolving thing where we pick certain things, we get things right, we get things wrong. But next year I'm gonna be more cautious of certain people. I'm gonna say, oh, they're done, just because they're 3-4, 3-5. But I have now, for real, the reason that I have the Packers is availability. Health equals wins. So when you're healthy at this time of year, it brings up the probability of you're going to win to a different level. And right now, the Packers are not only playing at home, they're healthy. The 49ers, on the other hand, Jimmy Garoppolo's he's going to play, but he's dealing with shoulder and thumb injuries. Right? Your two best defensive players are probably out, which hurts you. So I got to give it to the Packers. I think the Packers now, listen, the Packers they've lost 3 straight to the 49ers. But listen, After all that drama that Aaron Rodgers did, I can't see him losing. Not the divisional. If he loses the divisional, he'll never hear the end of it, and he'll probably be in Denver. So, because that'll be a scapegoat out. I can't win here and this and that, and he'll be in Denver, making another excuses why I can't be Patrick Mahomes. So, I got the Green Bay Packers winning 28-24. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be some good games. All right. Corey, you already went. Craig, Rams versus Bucks.
Okay. This is tough. So on the offensive side, I gotta go with the Rams, I think. It's because of the injuries to Tampa Bay. I'm slightly leaning to
Here we go. Come on.
Hey man, it's tough, man. You got Brady on the other side. So I'm leaning to the Rams just because of the injuries. Obviously there's no Fournette, maybe. Jones is questionable. Not Perriman, Godwin and Antonio Brown, whatever. These guys are gone. And on the other side, the Rams, besides obviously Robert Woods, they're pretty healthy. Higbee's there, Cooper Kupp, who had a bad game, and they still blew out the Cardinals. And then you have OBJ, who I relax. I thought OBJ was done. I mean, he's not really like Pro Bowl wide receiver right now still, but who knows? Maybe next season with a full season under his belt, we're playing with this team again. Who knows? Like maybe they'll be putting him in the Pro Bowl next year. Who knows? But yeah, I'm taking the Rams. Obviously Tom Brady, you can't really doubt him on the other side. And he's having a phenomenal season for age 43. I just saw this early this week that Tom Brady's older than all the other coaches.
Yep.
In the NFC, which is wild to me.
Yep. NFC, right? Yeah.
In NFC.
Yep.
NFC. He's still putting up big numbers. So I mean, I can't really doubt the Bucks that much, but the way that the Rams offense ran all over the Cardinals and the way they played last week against a better team, in my opinion, I guess. Now I'm picking the Rams. And Matt Stafford surprised me because I thought he's going to have some picks, and the way he's been playing the last like 5-6 weeks, he has been not good at all, not reliable, but he showed up. Defensive side, man, the Rams defense, the way they played last week, they bring that same energy because they haven't really played like that pretty much all season for the most part. Last year they were I think they had the top defense in the league. This year they weren't in the top 10, I believe, or maybe they were just inside the top 10. But they weren't that same Rams defense. And then this game in the playoffs, this is all that really counts. And the defense stepped up and they look good. I mean, you can say the same thing for the Bucks as well, but the Bucks didn't really. I mean, I didn't really think the Eagles game was going to be much of anything anyway. But I thought maybe they had a little chance to keep it close a little bit, and then the Bucks pull away late. But yeah, overall, taking the Rams. When you hold a team 0 for 9 on third down, I can't look away from that, and I got to stick with the Rams. Coaching wise, I'm picking Bruce Arians. He has a weird style. He's smacking players on the head and whatever he's doing over there with Antonio Brown. I don't know that whole situation still, but like I guess it's what he said he did this. But I don't know. Either way, he has his own style, but I think he's done a great job. Obviously, the last 3 games of the season when he lost some players, nothing really there. Panthers twice, Jets, but overall, I think he's done a solid job. I think McVay's done a great job as well, but I'm going to push it towards Bruce Arians just slightly. Ah, man, the pick, man. I kind of want to say the Rams, but I can't pick against Tom Brady right now. Not this week. So I would not be surprised if the Rams win this game, but I'm picking the Bucks. I'm going 30-27, 30-26. I'm going with the Bucks.
Oh,
it's tough, man. I really want to say the Rams. I'm picking the Bucks.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to do what I did to you last week. The Bucks are gonna lose.
Okay.
All right. They are. So, okay, offense, I have the Rams. Of course, for obvious reasons. Matthew Stafford is playing. He played good last week. You have Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ. You have Cooper Kupp, the best receiver in football. That running game with Cam Akers and Sony Michel, nobody's talking about it. They're doing really good. Can't be, if they establish that, relieve that pressure off Stafford. They have two good receivers off play action, and you have Tyler Higbee. Be careful. So I think the Rams do offense. Defense, I'm gonna go to Rams. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller. Shout out to Joe. He just said a stat the other day. I think Von Miller is the most sacks as individual player since 2015 in the playoffs. But he had a phenomenal playoff run that year with the Super Bowl. So I know that contends to it, but still, he's still there. And the Bucs defense is that their run defense is phenomenal, but their corners are lacking in the pass defense, and they could definitely be exposed on the back half. So for coaching, yes, Bruce Arians. And listen, Craig. I heard on the podcast last week, they call him BA. He speaks like that to everybody. He would be like, F you, Tom Brady. This is how his coaching style is. The player that he hit in the helmet, I don't know if they have their relationship, but he's been on this is like fourth or fifth team or something. I think he just got emotional, like, you're better than this, don't get a penalty,
Yeah.
So, but coaching, I don't know. It's not a push, James. No push, man. No push.
I didn't. It's okay.
I see. The only thing with McVay is he's expected to win with that team, but Bruce Arians is coming off a Super Bowl victory with Tom Brady in a loaded roster. But I'll give it to Bruce Arians because the Rams had some injuries too. They had Robert Woods out. I'm going Sean McVay, man, to bring just to get Odell Beckham back involved, keeping this team together, making all those veterans buy in and play well. I'll give it to Sean McVay. Overall, the Rams are going to physically dominate the Bucs, and the reason is because of health. Just like I said last time, health is a huge matter. Listen, Mike Evans gets taken out the game. You bring pressure on Tom. It's going to get Tom rattled. They have no running game. This is going to be a very tough battle for Tom Brady. And he'll be okay. He just won a Super Bowl last year. He can get over it. But I just think that they cruised with the Eagles because it was the Eagles. This Rams team is different. And I think they're going to beat the Bucs. And they're going to beat the Bucs. It's going to be, because everything's high scoring, 31-28. But the Bucs are going to get a late garbage time touchdown to make it look close. All right. Corey?
Looks like I'm on my own here. Offensively, I'm going to give the edge to Tampa.
Oh.
Look, I think the quarterback and running back spots are even for both teams. I think the Bucs have a better offensive line, although I would put an asterisk on that because if Tristan Wirfs is out, that definitely changes that equation a little bit. And both teams have had issues with injuries and whatnot at wide receiver, but I just think the duo of Evans and Gronk is better than Kupp and Beckham. Yeah, Kupp's had one of the best individual seasons of a wide receiver ever, but Gronk's probably the best to ever do it at tight end. And
It is, yeah.
Mike Evans is still Mike Evans. Defensively, I'm giving the edge to the Rams right now. Yeah, I'm with you guys. Von Miller has been playing phenomenal football, and he's been doing precisely what they brought him in to do of late. I thought I saw he's like 6 sacks in the last 5 games or something.
Yeah, he's great, man. First ballot.
Yeah, he's doing it. He's doing what they brought him in to do and doing exactly what they need. The Bucs have, as you said, they have a great defensive line, good run defense, but that secondary is not at the level it was last year. Coaching wise, I do agree it's pretty even matchup. I'm giving it to BA though. Just longevity. He's been a phenomenal coach for a long time. Yes, he hasn't been a head coach all that long.
Yeah, he's been a coach for a long time. Yeah.
But you look at his work as quarterback coach in Indianapolis for Peyton Manning, offensive coordinator with the Steelers for Roethlisberger, what he did in Arizona with Carson Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's a good coach, man. He's a great guy too.
But so it's one of those things. Not taking anything from McVay, just BA is a great.
Yeah.
Overall, I do think it should be a good game. These teams do look different from when they met early in the season when the Rams won and were looking like they were coasting their way to a Super Bowl appearance. So I don't really think there's anything you can gather from that game at this point in the season.
What was that, week 2 or 3?
Yeah, something like that.
It was early.
I mean, the pressure's on the Rams right now. Kudos to McVay for helping them get through that last week. Odell getting his head on straight and having him productive in a playoff game. Also, I think the core of what won the Bucs a Super Bowl last year was that defense, because Tom Brady did not play well in their playoff run. That defense played at an elite level, and that defense isn't there this year. They're not at that level. I don't know if they can flip a switch. I don't know personnel wise if they've got that got those guys in the secondary because of health reasons. It's there's a significant jump in pressure from a random wild card game to against a team that pretty well and are probably feeling pretty confident against, to the defending champions in the divisional round. We'll see if Stafford and the Rams handle it. I think they do, because I think they're the better team right now. I'm gonna go with the Rams 27-23.
You know what? Last week, you and Mo picked the Cowboys. Me and Corey picked the 49ers. I'm just saying.
Shut up, man.
I'm just saying. All right, this is the last one. Bills versus Chiefs. All right, this is a winner. Everybody's going to be tuned in. A lot of people say they wish this was a championship game. People have been waiting for this. This has been building up. So, offensive quarterbacks, you got Josh Allen, who's playing phenomenal this year. You got Patrick Mahomes. I have to go with Patrick Mahomes because when you get to the AFC Championship, lose to Tom Brady, probably the greatest quarterback of all time. Then you go to a Super Bowl and win it. You go back to a Super Bowl and lose to Tom Brady. That's a tough beginning resume. And then the way both quarterbacks played phenomenal last game, both against good defenses. That's the guy going, my man. Patrick Mahomes, man. Receivers, the receiver core. Listen, Dawson Knox is a really good tight end and underrated, catches a lot of touchdowns, and you have Stephon Diggs. So the Chiefs also have Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. So the dynamic is good. I'm giving the edge to Kansas City because of Kelsey. And listen, their running game is all right. But Jerick McKinnon has been showing up. He's been showing up, and he's been playing good. And this time of year, it's the unsung heroes that get you to the Super Bowl. So Jerick McKinnon is playing really well. So I give the offensive edge to the Chiefs. The defensive edge, I got to go Buffalo, man. Let me tell you something. That interception, was that Micah Hyde? Was it Jordan Poyer? I think it was Jordan Poyer. Against Mac Jones.
That was Micah Hyde.
That was Micah Hyde.
I think so. Could be wrong.
So,
Interception in the end zone, right?
Yeah. Well, it was like the way that's why he's an all-pro, because the way that he snatched the ball out there, he tracked it down and caught it perfectly. And I think the Bills' defense, the interior, their pass defense, they built their defense to build the Chiefs. That's what they've done, and they've had a good defense. So I'm going to give defensive Bills. Bills get the edge of defense. Coaching, Sean McDermott's a great coach. He's going to be there for a long time. But it's Andy Reid, man. Big Red, as they like to call him. He said a quote the other day that's so funny. He said, "Yeah, man, winning the playoffs is like a piece of good chocolate cake, and then they dangle it right in front of you. You just want to eat more." Like his quotes are legendary, man. He's a great coach. He still contacts his players. He still talks to Michael Vick. Still talks to T.O. This is what they've said it out their own mouths. They keep it touching Andy Reid. So that's what I'm giving him the edge. I just think he's great, innovative play caller, and he's going to have Kansas City once again. The wheels are turning. All right, this game is going to be good. I can't wait to watch it to start to finish. These teams have been waiting for this matchup since last year, since the AFC Championship game, since Stephon Diggs stayed and watched the Chiefs win and watch the Chiefs celebration. And he's going to end up doing it again, because I have the Chiefs winning against the Buffalo Bills, even though they're hot right now. I don't know if they're ready to take that stage in this Kansas City. So I have Kansas City winning an extremely good game, 38-35. All right, Corey. Yep.
All right, game of the weekend. Yeah, I wish this game was next week, but it is what it is. Offensively, obviously, I'm going with Kansas City. I know Josh Allen has been playing phenomenal football, but you got to go with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They've gotten into a flow, and it's playoff time. It's in Kansas City, and there's a reason that the Chiefs have gone to back-to-back Super Bowls, and it's Patrick Mahomes. Defensively, I am going to go Buffalo. Over their last 5 games, including the playoff game, they're giving up 15 points per game. This is a type of game where they're going to greatly miss a guy like Tre'Davious White. But they still had the number 1 overall defense and number 1 scoring defense on the season. Kansas City turned it on about the halfway point or so defensively, but Buffalo's been a great defense all year. They loaded up on pass rushers in the offseason, and I think they'll have a good shot at getting after Mahomes this weekend. Coaching, again, obviously, you have to pick Andy Reid. No knock on McDermott, but it's Andy Reid's been a phenomenal coach for years now. On the whole, this is the 2 teams that everyone thought would be battling it out for the AFC. They should be. I think the winner of this game is probably a heavy favorite next Sunday to win the AFC. And Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have become one of those duos like Brady and Belichick before, or Montana and
Montana.
Yeah, forgetting
Bill Walsh.
names there. Yeah, but
Bill Walsh.
yeah, Bill Walsh. It's you have to pick them until they lose. It's they've been that good. They've and logically everything says Kansas City at home. They've shown enough to be able to win, but ever since that second half against Tampa Bay for Buffalo, where Josh Allen threw the team on his shoulder and almost brought them back in that game that they had no business being even anywhere close to winning, the Bills have been playing some inspired football. Mm-hmm. They are a team on a mission. Their offense has greatly evolved late in the season as they've finally figured out that it is okay to run the football. And everything says Kansas City should win this game, but something tells me I think Buffalo pulls off the upset. So I'm going to go Buffalo 23-21.
All right, Corey. A lot of people picking Buffalo. A lot of people. All right, Craig.
Okay, well, man, on the offensive side of the ball, to me, it's close because you got two really good quarterbacks, obviously, so they just kind of cancel each other out, I guess. The running game is Buffalo's running game. It looks a lot better than it did, or it looks better now than it did early in the season. So I like Buffalo's running game now. It seems like they kind of found something in Singletary, and they're getting the ball a lot more. But I can't really. I don't know if I can take their offense overall. But Kansas City's off. I mean, their running game is just not. It's not. I don't know. They have guys, but they just like CEH. I thought he was going to be that next big like Priest Holmes or something like that. But he just hasn't. He hasn't developed into that right now. Maybe they'll find something. Maybe he can do something next year. I'm not sure. As far as their receivers go, like it's pretty much Stephon Diggs. I think Dawson Knox is solid, but he's not a big number two guy like Travis Kelce is, and sometimes he's a number one. So I'm taking Kansas City's offense. Tariq Hill, Pringle, like those guys, Hardman. I mean, these guys are playing really good football. On the defensive side, though, I got to go with the Bills. They had the number one rated defense in the league for a reason. Defense still, and the way the defense came out last week, and I mean, granted it's a rookie quarterback, but they just destroyed that Patriots team, and it's gonna be tough because they're going on the road, obviously, in this game. I just don't know if they have enough to get over that hump. Granted, it's two teams that are used to this cold weather. The Bills, they're not opposed to, and they're not scared of going on the road in Kansas City, so they're not going to be afraid at that moment. And they played them last year. It wasn't that close of a game last year, but I think the Bills learned a lot from last year's game, and they're going to bring that into Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday night. So, but yeah, I think the Bills defense is really good. And as far as coaching goes, I got to go with Andy Reid. The job that he's kind of done in the second half of the season, leading this team. They could have had the number one overall seed. They didn't lose to Cincinnati, but here they are. And unfortunately, like Corey said, we get this game in the second round versus getting it in possibly the third round. I thought these two teams were going to battle it out in the AFC Championship game, but it happens, I guess. But yeah, I'm leaning more towards Andy Reid as far as the coaching goes. I think the job that he's done, kind of resurrecting this team from a lot of people saying when I think they were 3-4 when the season started, and a lot of people were saying they were done. They don't look like the same team, which I mean they still kind of really don't. But their offense, I mean, it's just like last week, their offense just clicked and everything happened, and they showed up and they put up 42. They're playing against Ben Roethlisberger on the other side, but still, like the offense really hasn't done that, and as far as that many points and the way they looked in a long time. The key to me is going to be turnovers. If Patrick Mahomes turns the ball over like he did against Pittsburgh, and granted he only had one, but that led to a touchdown. So
that's going to make a difference. Yeah,
that can't happen. If he can just put the pieces together, and I think he will. Maybe force some turnovers on the other side. That's what Kansas City's going to have to do in this game, and stop the run. I think if they can probably put some pieces on some bodies on Stephon Diggs, maybe try to make somebody else beat him. Same thing with the other side. I mean, it's going to be kind of more. It's going to be tougher because you have two guys over there, Kelce and Hill. But I think the Bills defense can get to the quarterback and sack Mahomes and make him uncomfortable back there in the pocket. So I say all that to say I'm still picking the Chiefs in this game. None of these games I really feel confident about, except the Packers. But
That's the only one I feel comfortable. Comfortable with.
I'm going 34 to 28. Picking the Chiefs. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm changing my pick from the Rams Bucks game. You know what? It's too many people on the offensive line hurt, man. I seen what happened.
It's a lot. They played a lot of football. They played a lot of football, man.
I just saw what I saw I just remember what I saw last year in the Super Bowl with the offensive line for the Chiefs and how banged up they were, and they weren't as good as the quarterback is. I can't do it. I mean, unless they're 100% healthy, then I'll change my mind. But I'm going Rams, man.
Yeah. Well, because so I just shout out to Nick Wright. He said this on the Herd. He was like, Tampa's played the most football. Remember, they didn't have a high seed, so they played like 3 playoff games. They beat the Washington football team, then they beat the Saints, then they beat Green Bay. So they've played a lot of football, and I think that's why I think it's the injuries. If they were healthy, I'm picking them. Picking them. It would be a repeat. It'd be Packers and Tampa, but they're not. So that's why, if they're healthy, man, it's going to be a repeat.
So, another reason why I'm leaning Buffalo is, what's the reason why this is the divisional round instead of AFC Championship game? Because 2 weeks ago, second to last week of the season, the Chiefs lost to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
Knocking them out of the 1 seed. They're beatable this year.
They are. They are. It's going to be, I'm not going to lie, that this divisional round, I'm actually looking forward to it. All the teams belong there. All of them. I don't see any blowouts. I don't see any blowouts.
There's going to be 4 blowouts.
That would be crazy. Even though the 49ers, they play tough, then Packers aren't just going to – the Packers are 3 – they've lost 3 straight to the 49ers. They're not going to just roll them. I think they're going to win, but they're not going to be like 35-10.
If the Niners weren't dealing with a litany of injuries, I would say yeah. But
you think so? The Niners will run the ball, man. Green Bay's defense is very susceptible. So I don't know. I don't know. I think the Packers are going to win. I just don't think it's going to be like how Dallas.
I think it'll be a 2-score game.
Okay. All right. Well, 2-score game could be 10, or it could be 14, or it could be 6.
Yeah, it's a war of attrition.
2 field goals.
Packers are healthy. The Niners aren't.
Yeah.
So it's not just injuries. It's the players that are injured. It's the important ones for the Niners.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna be healthy because it's Wednesday. This is a key day.
Yep.
If you don't know from fantasy, Wednesday is a key day. Because if you don't practice Wednesday, it's not likely you're practicing Friday. If you're not practicing Friday, you're not playing. That's just how it goes.
And is theirs the Saturday or Sunday game?
Let me see.
The Bucks play on Sunday.
So the Niners Packers is Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's one less day of preparation.
One less day. Yep. It's Saturday, 8:15. So the Bengals and Titans at 4:30. Packers and 49ers, Saturday, 8:15. Sunday, the Rams versus the Bucks at 3. And then they got the Chiefs and Bills Sunday night. And then they got the championship game.